Hi everyone, and welcome to the Pediatric Clerkship. My name is Shannon and I'm going to be going over information about your rotation schedules, assignments, and logistics for the next 6 weeks. I do apologize that I'm not there to go over this information in person, but if you have any questions at the end of this lecture, please feel free to email me or call me. I'll provide that information at the end. So this is the clerkship orientation schedule for this morning. After this video, one of our chief residents will be coming to talk about patient safety and working on the wards. Then our associate clerkship director, Dr. Megha Fitzpatrick, will come in and talk about a little bit more about general pediatrics and the next 6 weeks in the clerkship. And then Dr. Casey will be coming to talk about the pediatrics examination. Dr. Maria Marquez is the clerkship director, and she apologizes she could not be here this morning, but she will be back later in this week and will meet you on Friday. So to go over a little bit of the information about your inpatient and outpatient rotations, I have sent you all your rotation schedules via email. For the inpatient rotations, if you're rotating on the gray team, I've sent out your schedules. Here's just a little bit more information about the rotation. The PEDS ward is on the 5th floor of the CCC building. You should all have badge access to that floor. Please let me know if it is not working. Morning sign-out will be at 6:30 a.m. every morning, and afternoon sign-out will be at 5:30 p.m. During your inpatient rotation at Georgetown, you'll spend 2 weeks on the gray team, which is what they call the Georgetown inpatient team, and 1 week on night float. Also, you will be spending 1 weekend day during the rotation, which I have noted on your schedules. If you're rotating at Inova Fairfax or Inova Loudoun for your inpatient rotations, you will have a separate orientation on your first day there, and those of you at Fairfax have already been contacted by the coordinator over there. For your outpatient rotations, it will be Monday through Friday with no weekend call, and your schedules will probably vary based on your scheduled rotation site. And I've emailed you all the outpatient preceptor contact information, so hopefully you have contacted them, and please let me know if you have any questions. During your outpatient rotation, you will all be spending time in the newborn nursery. If you were in the CYS clinic, you will be going to the newborn nursery at Georgetown Hospital on the 2nd floor of the main building every morning at 7 a.m. I have given you badge access to the nursery. You will leave between 8:30 and 8:45 a.m. so you can report to the clinic. For all the other outpatient sites, you are scheduled to rotate at the newborn nursery at Virginia Hospital Center. That is the day I've listed in parentheses on your rotation schedule. You'll be going 1 morning per week for 3 mornings total. You will get your ID badge and additional orientation information from Nicole Phelps. She is in the medical staff office. And parking, you'll be parking in the blue parking garage. In your folders, you will find a whole sheet of information about the newborn nursery. And if you have any questions, please let me know or Nicole Phelps. Workshops and lectures. Friday morning, all students, no matter where you're rotating, inpatient, outpatient, days or nights, are required to attend grand rounds in the Gorman Auditorium at 8 a.m. every Friday morning. After grand rounds, we will have our mandatory pediatric clerkship core workshop or simulation. They usually go until about 11 or 12, 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., and afterwards you will head to your scheduled rotation site. Active and team-based learning workshops are for students that are rotating on the gray team, day team, and the CYS students. So if you're currently on inpatient at Georgetown or in the CYS clinic, you'll be coming for our Wednesday and Thursday active and team-based learning workshops. They're at 12 noon in the 1PHC conference room, and I will email reminders of when the workshops are and if there's any pre-reading assignments. Here are Friday morning workshops. This upcoming Friday we'll have our immunization workshop, which Dr. Marquez will lead, so you will all meet her then. We will have an adolescent medicine workshop, genetics workshop, reflection workshop, a simulation workshop, and then finally on December 18th will be our shelf exam, which will be at 9 a.m. and it's 2.5 hours. So you guys will all be done no later than noon on that Friday. And just a reminder, you guys are all off for Thanksgiving break from November 26th until that Sunday. So here's a little bit of information from your syllabus. I'll briefly go over and then you guys can, read through the syllabus and let me know if you have any questions. So during the clerkship, you all are allowed one personal or sick day. This is on individual basis. You must contact your preceptor, Dr. Marquez, and the clerkship administrator. Makeup shifts will be based on additional time missed. So your makeup day will be assigned by the clerkship director and the administrator. So if it is a last minute emergency, you're not feeling well, something came up, please contact your preceptor first and then Dr. Marquez and the clerkship administrator. If you know in advance that you will need to miss a day, please contact Dr. Marquez and the administrator so we can work that out with you. Inclement weather policy. The Georgetown School of Medicine policy states that in the event of inclement weather, medical students are normally expected to report to their clerkship assignment if the assigned clinic or hospital is open for service, but you must use prudent judgment. You guys are all rotating at different rotation sites. Some of you are traveling further distances than others. So please use your best judgment of whether or not you feel safe enough to report to that site. You must contact your preceptor first if you are unable to report, and please use the best way to communicate them, whether that's through phone, a text page, or email. Phone call is usually the best. Policy on harassment. If for any reason you feel like you're being harassed during the clerkship and you don't feel comfortable coming to Dr. Marquez or the clerkship administrator, please contact one of the trained coordinators, which is Kim Hall and Mesky Lloyd. We take harassment really seriously in the pediatric clerkship and throughout all the other clerkships in your 3rd and 4th year. So please, if you feel like you're being harassed in any way, go to one of the trained coordinators. Clerkship evaluation. During your 6 weeks in pediatrics, you will be evaluated from everyone you work with. And there's the student assessment form for clinical evaluations, which will be used through CourseEval. And I'm sure you've seen this form already throughout your time here. So throughout the clerkship, we count 70% of the grade from inpatient and outpatient preceptors. It's residents and attendings, everyone that you've worked with will get comments from everyone. The shelf exam is 20% of your grade. Professionalism is 5%, and the written H&P assignment is also 5%, which I'll go over shortly. And professionalism is something that is very important in pediatrics because you're not only working with the patient, you're working with the mom, the dad, the aunt, the uncle, you're working with any family member. And so we have a 10-point scale for professionalism in pediatrics. I'm sure you all remain at 10 points, but if any professional issues come up, we will meet with you and go over a case-by-case basis. And in addition, you can lose points by being late to workshops, late to lectures, late for assignments, or not communicating about any absences. So that will be worth 5% of your grade. Lastly, assignments. What do I have to do in the next 6 weeks, and when do I have to do it by? Your first is your mid-rotation feedback form. That will be due Wednesday, November 25th, since you guys are off that Thursday and Friday. So by that Wednesday, you can either drop it off in the medical education office, which is on the ground floor of Gorman, or you can fax it over, scan it and email it, however you can do it to get it by Wednesday the 25th. I put the mid-clerkship feedback form in your orientation folders. Next, you will have to do 8 observation forms during the next 6 weeks. Looks like this form right here. You will need to be observed 8 times. So I recommend you try to get maybe 4 done on inpatient and 4 done on outpatient. And only one of these forms needs to be completed in every section, meaning you're observed in all different parts of this form. The other 7 can be partially completed. What we do ask is that you try to get at least 2 filled out by the same resident or attending. That way they can mark off whether you've shown improvement and they can give you better feedback. I put the observation form in your folder, and you can make copies down in the medical education office, or it is on Blackboard as well, and you can print off more copies. You will have a written H&P due by Wednesday, December 2nd, and that will be emailed to the chief residents. I have an example of an H&P on Blackboard in addition to the rubric you will have for that assignment. On Friday, December 4th, you will have to turn in a family pedigree along with 6 genetics questions. So during your time in pediatrics, you will definitely see some genetics issues in the patients you see. So you'll have to write up the family pedigree on that, and then on December 4th, we will have a geneticist come in and do a workshop. We will also have one student present an interesting genetics case that morning as well. Also, on Friday, December 4th, we will have a reflective practitioner workshop. During this workshop, you will all bring a written critical incident, something that happened during the clerkship that surprised you, something that made you question. And we will all split up into groups and reflect upon that critical incident. So that written assignment will be due on December 4th. And in addition, you will have reflective Blackboard posts. So this is more for your own personal growth. By Friday, November 27th, mid-clerkship, you will respond to a few questions about your progress in the past 3 weeks, what you've learned, what you want to strive to continue to learn in the next 3 weeks in pediatrics. And then you'll post again Friday, December 18th, the last day of the clerkship, and review. What have you learned? What do you want to continue to work on in the next clerkships in medical school? And lastly, you will have 32 clip cases to complete by the end of the clerkship. I have information about that on Blackboard as well and how to log in. And then please log your patient encounters into 145. Please do that weekly. So that wraps up my portion of orientation. If you have any questions at all, please email me or Dr. Marquez. And I recommend that you review the additional orientation documents on Blackboard after today's orientation. And if there are any questions at all, please feel free to contact us. Thank you. I hope you all have a great next 6 weeks in pediatrics.